Stick with me, you and I are diving into a wild story where the school beauty queen begged to marry our hero. But growing up changes people. She conveniently forgot all about their sweet forever childhood promise. Instead, she turned her back on him, completely falling head over heels for some random blonde punk. Right from day one, she started skipping classes, dyeing her hair, and hitting shady spots. Naturally, her grades totally nosedived straight into the absolute bottom. No matter how much our guy tried to pull her back, she simply would not budge. Eventually, during a massive fight, our hero threw himself right in the way to block a harsh strike that the blonde punk aimed straight at her. But as he lay in the hospital covered in heavy injuries and barely holding on, Chloe actually blamed him. She glared at him with pure resentment, claiming he was the sole reason her precious new boyfriend was going to jail. Swallowing the bitter taste of pure betrayal, he closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he was right back on that exact day. The day Chloe first skipped class with that guy. Her pure, entitlement-laced voice quickly snapped our guy right back to reality. "Mac, what are you spacing out for? Hurry up and hand over my breakfast." Mac looked down at the breakfast bag in his hand, not moving a single inch. A second later, his lips curled into a smile, carrying way too much hidden meaning. "Who said this breakfast was ever prepared for you? Now pay close attention here, this is where the dynamic flips." His voice dripped with heavy sarcasm, and Chloe completely froze. She had never heard him speak in that tone before. It was honestly like he had morphed into a completely different person entirely. In his past life on this exact day, she took the food and skipped school with Chad. From then on, she totally spiraled downwards. No matter how much he tried to help, she ignored him. Annoyed by the interference, Chad took harsh revenge. He ordered lackeys to harass Mac, destroy his study materials, and spread nasty rumors about exam cheating. Thanks to all that drama, his grades plummeted tragically. He was supposed to enter an Ivy League-level university, but ended up stuck at a totally average second-rate college instead. Right now, hearing that comeback, every single classmate stared with wide eyes. Before Chloe chose Chad, everyone totally admired their perfect childhood sweetheart bond. Absolutely nobody expected her to choose that blonde delinquent in the end. Noticing those stares, Chloe frowned, failing to hide her irritation. "Mac, do you even know what you are saying?" Right as she spoke, her phone buzzed with a loud ding. He knew exactly what it was, a text from Chad asking her out. We both knew that was coming, right? Reading it, her face lit up with a huge smile, and she shot him a glare. "Mac, I am in a great mood today, so no arguing. I am stepping out for a bit. Make sure you cover for me, okay?" Saying that, she turned to leave the room, but our guy called out loudly, stopping her right in her tracks. "Chloe, I will give you exactly 1 day to return the $3,000 you owe me." "What? Since when do I owe money? From middle to high school, I brought you breakfast exactly 900 times. Oh, and include that phone I bought for you, too. Hand it over. Why are you being so petty?" she sneered. "I am petty." He let out a cold laugh. "Why not ask yourself that? What have you ever given me? Pay up. From now on, we keep our total distance. The simp era is officially over." Hearing all their classmates whispering, Chloe felt totally humiliated. "Fine, I will pay you back. We are totally done." Her family was wealthy, so she never lacked pocket money. But recently, just to please Chad, she bought him a new phone and a motorcycle. Paying him back meant her funds were basically zeroed out. Still, to save face around her peers, she gritted her teeth and angrily transferred all the cash. After Chloe stormed out, he scanned the familiar classroom and suddenly realized something insane. His memory had literally reached a photographic level. He could instantly recall every classmate's name and every single textbook he had ever read. "Is this the legendary cheat code of rebirth?" He smiled to himself. Getting a second chance, he absolutely refused to be anyone's doormat. Using past life memories, he would drag Chad's reputation through the mud, making sure Chloe tasted nothing but pure, bitter regret forever. Meanwhile, outside, Chloe was absolutely fuming. "I just wanted to have fun once. Did he have to make a huge scene? I did nothing wrong." Then a voice called, "Chloe, let's go." A blonde guy looking like a textbook delinquent but definitely handsome swaggered right over. Despite being a walking red flag to everyone, Chad was a flawless prince in Chloe's eyes. Smiling brightly, she followed him right out of school. Back inside, the sharp, rhythmic sound of high heels echoed down the hallway. It was Miss Turner, their strict homeroom teacher. Frowning at the empty seat, she glared straight at him. "Trust me, you and I are going to love what happens next. Stick with me, you and I are about to see an epic turnaround. Mac my office, others self-study." I stood then, ping, I checked the screen. Chloe had just dropped a brand new social media update. Right there in the picture, she sat on a flashy motorcycle, hair blowing wild, her arms wrapping super tight around that blonde guy's waist. She smiled so big, like winning the ultimate jackpot. Looking at this picture, I felt absolutely zero heartbreak. Honestly, it was just purely hilarious. Since getting that phone, I had literally never made a single appearance on her timeline. But Chad, a few days, and boom, he is featured. Smirking, I tapped like unpinned her toxic chat and instantly switched her over to Do Not Disturb mode. Absolute good riddance. Out on the highway, a motorcycle engine roared. Chad and his flashy little gang were speeding dangerously down the street. One lackey looked back, teasing Chad's sister-in-law looks amazing. Finding a gorgeous girl like her, I would risk everything today. Hearing that hype, Chad's massive ego inflated like a giant hot air balloon. He absolutely craved being worshipped. Picking Chloe as his new girlfriend was honestly just a massive trophy move to flex on his loyal boys. But right now, Chloe definitely was not having any fun like them. Now pay attention here. First time hitting high speeds, her initial hype quickly flipped into pure sheer panic. Watching the speedometer numbers violently climb, she started shaking hard. "Chad, you are going too fast." He just laughed. "Fast? You have not even witnessed my real speed yet." He aggressively accelerated. Cold wind screamed in her ears, making her intense fear skyrocket. Her eyes reddened quickly. Out of nowhere, my calm face popped right into her mind. Without even thinking, she opened her messages, desperately wanting me to rescue her. But seeing her timeline, she noticed my recent like. Chloe froze completely still. She absolutely could not understand my mindset. Hesitating briefly, she typed a few desperate words, fighting against the howling strong wind. "Mac, I do not blame you for this morning. Can you please come pick me up, sent?" But absolutely no reply arrived. Chloe felt a massive wave of crushing disappointment hit her. Previously, I always replied within seconds. Why was it suddenly like this? The wind grew stronger. Scenery totally blurred past. Tears welled up in her eyes as she choked out a desperate voice note. "Mac, please answer me, I am terrified." Chad glanced back, seeing her pathetic crying state, and his arrogant heart softened slightly. He finally slowed down, but in that exact split second, a huge rock appeared perfectly under his front tire. Despite fast reflexes, the bike violently skidded and crashed. Chloe screamed endlessly, hitting the hard pavement heavily. Her knee got scraped brutally, deep red marks instantly staining her leg. She sat there in terrible agony, but looking up, Chad was not rushing to her at all. He frantically tried lifting his bike, her heart completely filled with bitter disappointment. "I know what you were thinking. Romance, nope." Only after checking his precious bike and hearing his buddy's warning did Chad finally check on Chloe. Seeing her absolutely pathetic condition, panic hit him. "Babe, are you okay?" Tears streamed down endlessly. She totally ignored him. Chad hurriedly started apologizing. Hearing those sweet words and seeing that handsome face again, her deep disappointment faded just slightly. "My knee hurts infinitely. I refuse to ride that thing again. Take me right back to school." Chad, feeling super guilty, quickly pulled her up. "My fault entirely. Let us go to the school nurse immediately." Meanwhile, I quietly followed Miss Turner right into her office. "Mac, I need to talk with you." She looked serious. "Miss Turner, is this regarding Chloe?" I sat comfortably and asked directly, "You are sharp. I heard she skipped class entirely. Is that true?" I simply nodded. "Chloe has massive potential. I hate seeing her academic future ruined over petty, useless teenage drama. You two are super close, so please talk some sense into her." I kept my face completely blank and neutral. "Teacher, you understand exactly why she left. She refuses to listen now. Besides, this is purely her own choice. From now on, I have zero interest in her toxic business. In my past life, I lost everything trying to prove that no matter how hard I tried, I simply could not change her." Miss Turner looked visibly disappointed, but she seemed to understand. Being brutally betrayed definitely hurts. Who would not be upset? Sighing, she dropped it, reminding me to crush my college entrance exams. Right before leaving, she suddenly mentioned one more thing. "Recently, an arts track student is actively transferring into our sciences class. Try to help her transition." Okay, I was slightly confused. In my previous timeline, there was absolutely no transfer student. Still, I nodded, understanding completely. I strolled back into my classroom as the bell rang. I barely sat down when Vivian, Chloe's toxic best friend from next door, came rushing wildly inside. Our relationship was totally garbage. In my previous life, whenever I did anything nice for Chloe, Vivian gate-kept hard, constantly setting up annoying tests and ridiculous obstacles for me. Right now, she looked totally frantic. "Mac, have you seen Chloe?" I could not help but laugh. "So what do you and I think, Vivian? Do you literally have the IQ of a frozen goldfish? Let's jump into this wild rebirth story. Am I her dad? How would I know where she went?" Vivian was completely stunned by my sudden attitude. My deskmate Harry frowned, jumping right in. "You're supposedly her bestie, yet you had zero clue she literally skipped school this morning. Why bother, Mac?" Turns out Vivian showed up late today and totally missed out on all the morning drama. A classmate filled her in. Hearing the story, Vivian turned to me, absolutely furious. "Mac, she totally skipped because you didn't bring her breakfast and made her sad." I just smirked at her. Like I said, absolutely zero brain cells here. I've officially cut ties with her. Whether she eats breakfast or dirt is completely irrelevant to me now. Just then, the next teacher strolled in. Vivian shot me a fiercely toxic glare before quickly scurrying back to her class. Harry gently patted my shoulder. "Don't let her get to you, bro. Never let her words shake your solid resolve." In my previous life, Harry saw right through Chloe's fake personality super early, constantly warning me to keep my distance. When I completely bombed my exams, he was the awesome guy who helped me recover. He was truly worried I'd fall right back into my foolish habits. I shook my head. "I know absolutely nothing about her personal drama, and I care even less. Don't ever mention her again." Hearing this, Harry smiled brightly, looking exactly like a huge weight vanished from his shoulders. I pulled out my trusty notebook and started drafting a web novel. The year was 2012, the glorious golden age of web novels. After a morning of brainstorming, I decided to write The Flawless Realm, an absolute masterpiece from my past life that eventually scored an epic anime adaptation. With my perfect photographic memory, I remembered every single comma. All I had to do was act like a human printer. By the end of the period, I had easily finished the entire first chapter. I just needed to go home and upload it. Suddenly, Vivian's incredibly annoying voice rang out once again. "Now watch this, Mac, Chloe is hurt. Come help her sit." I frowned, glancing right toward the classroom door. Vivian was supporting Chloe, whose face looked pale as a sheet. First time skipping school and she already got herself injured. Absolutely classic. Seeing me sitting perfectly still, Vivian dramatically stomped her foot. "Mac, you are way too much. She's hurt and you don't even care." Chloe's face grew even paler. She looked right at me, her fragile voice trembling. "Mac, do you really not care about me anymore? What exactly did I do wrong? I'm hurt. It hurts so much. Aren't you even going to ask if I'm doing okay?" I simply scoffed. "Chloe, what exactly is our relationship that magically requires me to care about you? You literally just got a brand new boyfriend, didn't you?" Deep resentment flashed in Chloe's eyes. "What do you mean by that?" "I mean exactly what I said. I'm not your dad and I'm not your mom. And I'm definitely not your boyfriend. I have zero obligation to babysit you." Vivian couldn't take it. "Why are you acting so incredibly petty? Even if she has a boyfriend, you two are literal childhood friends. Do you really have to act so cold? I already told you her personal business has nothing to do with me. Stop bothering me." Chloe looked utterly defeated. "Mac, you've really changed. You've changed so much. I don't even recognize you anymore." Those words felt so incredibly ironic they physically hurt. "Yeah, I changed. You see the irony here, right? In my past life, thanks to a silly childhood promise, I totally sacrificed my bright future and my life. I gave her absolutely everything. In return, I got a look of pure hatred as I faded away. I looked at her, my voice dripping with harsh mockery. "We've known each other for years, Chloe. Who actually changed first? You know the answer much better than I do." Chloe totally froze, looking at me like I was a complete stranger. "Mac, acting like this will honestly only make me hate you." "Oh, did you ever actually like me?" That question sent her into an absolute panic. Did she ever truly like me? Maybe, but she only liked the old version of Mac, who was top of the class and acted as her perfectly loyal personal butler. She lowered her head, totally unable to speak. Vivian gently helped her to her seat. "Chloe, he's just being ridiculously petty. We don't need to pay attention to him anymore." Chloe sat down, slowly wincing as the fresh wound on her knee flared up. Suddenly, Vivian dramatically gasped, "Oh no, I forgot to get your medicine from the nurse." A guy sitting right behind them immediately jumped up. "Chloe, I'll go get it for you." Being the absolute school beauty, Chloe never lacked guys super eager to be her loyal errand boys. Looking at the acne-faced guy in front of her, she literally couldn't even remember his name. But to spite me, she forced a sweet smile. "Thank you. Sorry for the trouble." The guy looked like he had just been magically blessed by an angel and quickly sprinted off. Vivian finally headed back to her class. Soon enough, the guy brought the medicine back. Chloe took it and purposely waved it in my direction, flexing that even without me, she still had plenty of backup options. I didn't even bother to look up from my new notebook. Furious, she let out a cold humph and dramatically looked away. Right then, the sound of high heels approached the classroom. Chloe completely panicked. Would the teacher find out she skipped? She instinctively looked at me silently, totally blaming me for not covering for her. Miss Turner walked in and Chloe's absolute worst nightmare came true. "Chloe, come to my office." She visibly tensed up. "Yes, Miss Turner." She purposely faked a pained expression, crying out. Turner just frowned. "Trust me, you and I know this wild drama is far from over. Come along with me." Harry watched her fake act, totally disgusted. "We will talk after you heal." Since when was she so manipulative? He turned to me. "Hey, my brother and sister return this coming Sunday. Let's grab some food. If you and my sister hit it off, you can totally call me brother-in-law." I just laughed, giving him a shove. "Bro, we are high school seniors. Nobody has time for romance." Right then, a weird noise echoed from the hallway. I peeked outside and caught a quick flash of bright blonde hair. It was Chad. My eyes narrowed instantly. This absolute jerk caused my complete ruin in my previous life. But this time, no way was I letting him step on me. I took a deep breath to calm myself down. In my past life, to expose his real nature to Chloe, I secretly collected proof of his crimes. The absolute worst, he beat a kid so badly that they ended up permanently disabled. I desperately needed to secure that exact same evidence way earlier this time around. I whipped out my phone, texting my uncle. He was a self-made billionaire packing enough wealth to easily rival Chad's entire family fortune. "Hey, uncle, can you help me investigate something?" I explained things quickly, pocketed my phone, and glared at Chad through the window. "I am going to make you pay for every single thing. Not just to me, but everyone you crushed." When the bell rang, I grabbed my backpack, but suddenly Chad totally blocked the classroom exit. He had a red rose clamped between his teeth, posing dramatically for Chloe. "Babe, I am here to pick you up." Chloe tried to stand, but seeing the whole class staring with pure cringe, she was way too embarrassed to even move. "You're going to want to see this." Chad noticed me leaving, flipped his bright blonde hair, and provoked me. "Well, if it isn't Genius Mac. Just so you know, Chloe is extremely happy with me." He fully expected me to lose my mind. Instead, I just smirked, shot him a look of absolute pity, and casually dropped two simple words. "Absolute." Chad clenched his fists, grinding his teeth, ready to throw hands. Right on cue, the dean's loud voice boomed, "Chad, why are you blocking the door? Get moving." Chad jumped in panic. "Yes, sir, I was just finding Mac." The dean literally sneered. "Got academic questions? Come to my office. Otherwise, get lost." Chad shot me a furious glare and completely slinked away in defeat. Slinging my backpack over my shoulder, I walked out. Unexpectedly, Chloe called after me. "Mac, wait. My leg still hurts. Can you take me home?" I just acted like I went completely deaf and walked right past her. Chloe watched my cold back leave dramatic tears falling down her face. "Jerk, I hate you." I rode my bike home. Staring at my familiar front gate, massive guilt hit me hard. In my past life, my parents had incredibly high hopes for me, but my awful college results nearly ruined them. This time around, I was absolutely going to be their pride and joy. Following a great family dinner, I hit my room, booted up the PC, and started typing. Writing this novel was basically copying and pasting right from my brain. My typing speed was legendary. In just 2.5 hours, I cranked out 20,000 words, 10 whole chapters done. I know what you and I would normally do, ignore the pop-up ad, right? But suddenly the wild text on this one totally caught my eye. Tomato Novels offered an 80-20 revenue split for authors, plus keeping all media rights. I immediately checked out the site. It looked pretty standard, but with the sheer epic quality of The Flawless Realm, this story would blow up absolutely anywhere. I registered an account, uploaded the first 12 chapters, and smashed that apply for contract button. Meanwhile, inside a massive mansion, Harper stood alone on her balcony. She stared into the distance, waiting for her parents as Cousin Grace walked up behind her. "Harper, let's go back inside. Your parents probably are not coming home tonight." Pure disappointment flashed in Harper's eyes, but she stubbornly shook her head. "I know they are busy, but they promised to be home today." Grace's heart completely ached. She knew this seemingly strong teenager was just desperately craving her parents' love. Mr. Harrison Harper's dad was a billionaire workaholic. That was the exact reason her mom had divorced him. Let's just head to your room. Maybe they will be back later. Harper quietly nodded, following Grace right inside. Lying next to her cousin, she peeked curiously at Grace's phone screen. Grace, aren't you the CEO of Tomato Novels? Why are you reviewing these manuscripts yourself? Grace offered a really bitter smile. Our company is about to go bankrupt. What kind of CEO am I? I thought taking charge would fix things, but I severely overestimated my own abilities. She tossed her phone aside, sighing in total defeat. Harper glanced at the screen. Just one single manuscript was left unread. Why not read the last one, The Flawless Realm? Sounds cool. Grace sighed. The title is too poetic. It does not fit current market trends. Even if it is poetic, someone put real effort into it. Just read a little bit. Grace grabbed the phone to reject it. But trust me, you and I won't forget this moment. Reading that prologue, she completely froze in shock. The world building was epic. These characters were absolutely distinct, completely avoiding all those typical boring story cliches. Stick with me here, we are about to dive into 12 absolutely epic chapters. Grace finished them all, instantly completely hooked. Reading her first web novel, Harper was absolutely amazed. Grace happily kissed her cheek. You are my lucky star, Harper. She blushed. Why so hyped? We do not even know what happens next. That reality check grounded Grace fast, but to save her whole platform, she had to bet everything on this one masterpiece. Next morning, I booted my PC, typing nonstop until 10 p.m., staring at that 80,000-word draft, pure satisfaction. Tomorrow, I would hit the official publishing requirements. I quickly checked my phone. A message popped up. Mac, I am so bored. Can we chat a bit? It was Chloe, I replied coldly. Did you not say we were totally finished? So why text me now? Inside a smoky internet cafe, Chloe sat beside Chad, who was intensely gaming. Reading my cold reply, she just smiled. I was just mad yesterday. Let us forget it. Okay, you are still my good bro? I stared at that text, completely speechless. She actually thought I was her loyal puppy. Throw one bone and I would run right back to her. Chloe, if you have nothing important to say, do not bother me. Even if it is important, still leave me alone. Seeing that text, Chloe angrily slammed her phone down. She actually lowered her pride to apologize. Shouldn't I be begging for forgiveness? Chad noticed her throwing a sudden tantrum. Babe, what is wrong? He reeked of cheap drinks and smoke. Disgusted? Chloe sighed. I am tired. Take me home. Chad shook his head. Babe, I am raiding. Let me take you back later. Now watch this shift closely. Chloe's stomach dropped. Before, if she told me to jump, I asked how high. But Chad, she asks for 10 things, he barely does 3. But I am exhausted and smell like smoke. Chad laughed. Going home? Sure. Just top up my game account first so I can clear these mobs. Staring at him, Chloe finally caved and nodded. Chad smirked to himself. Asking for cash was just his way of testing her limits. Every single time he pushed, she folded. He dragged the good girl from school into a smoky cafe. Next, taking her to a shady club for a permanent tattoo. His goal, ruin her sweet image completely so she would rely entirely on him. Fast forward to 2 a.m. Chloe woke up finding Chad passed out on the keyboard. She felt heartbroken. Did he not promise to take her home? That smoke smell was absolutely unbearable. She stormed right out, walking toward a fancy nearby hotel. But when she swiped her card, totally declined. Insufficient funds. Hearing that awkward explanation, Chloe's face burned bright red. If Mac had not forced her to repay that $3,000, she would not be totally broke. With only a few bucks left, she could never afford a room. It was 2 a.m. We all know this awful feeling, right? Who could she call? She lied to her parents. Asking for cash now exposes everything. Feeling the receptionist's highly judgmental stare, she mumbled a weak excuse and sprinted out the lobby. Sitting alone on the empty street curb, she completely broke down crying. The next morning, inside the Grand Harrison mansion, Grace frowned deeply during an emergency video call. She pushed all marketing towards The Flawless Realm, demanding an exclusive author contract immediately. But I had not logged in and staff could not reach me. They were sweating bullets. Meeting over, Grace rubbed her neck, walking onto the second-floor balcony. Far off, she spotted Harper's lonely silhouette. Harper turned around with red eyes. Grace, they promised. Why always break promises? Grace gently stroked her hair. They are just busy with work. Probably won't make it today. Work, work, work. It is literally always work. They never consider me. Harper wiped away tears. No more following their rules. Grace, does drinking really erase sadness? Let me try it. Grace looked conflicted. Harper, it is your birthday today. Fine, be rebellious today. Meanwhile, I was staring at my 80,000-word manuscript. Harry called, reminding me about our plans today. Setting a meeting spot, I hurried right out the door. Outside the Starlight Bar, Chloe stepped off Chad's motorcycle. She definitely did not trust his words anymore. Last night's memory still made her sick. Babe, do not be mad. Yesterday was my fault. Today we are having real fun. Chloe hesitated. Is this place dangerous? Dangerous? Nah, let us just go in. She missed his shady look. Trust me, wait until you see who just arrived in that black Rolls-Royce. Trust me, you will love this. The door swings open. Harper jumps out excitedly with Grace, who softly suggests they leave. Fun fact, this very bar actually belonged to Harper's dad. It was safe, sure, but if her dad caught her drinking here, he would absolutely lose his mind. Yet Harper completely ignores the warning and directly drags Grace inside. The bar manager spots them and practically has a panic attack. Miss, what on earth are you doing? Relax, my dad will not blame you at all. Grace steps forward, whispering to the stressed manager to stay quiet. She has never had a drink. You know exactly what to mix, right? The relieved manager nods furiously. Moments later, a stunning, colorful, fruity cocktail lands right in front of Harper. She curiously takes a sip. That sweet juice mixed with a tiny hint of alcohol dances on her tongue, flushing her cheeks instantly. Grace shoots the manager a fierce glare. The panicking manager frantically gestures it is basically alcohol-free, but suddenly Harper absolutely chugs the entire glass down. Unexpectedly, heavy tears begin streaming down her face. Her only real wish was her parents spending one single day together. But that dream never happened. She just sobs, venting years of hidden loneliness. Seeing this total breakdown, the manager panics and calls Dad. Boss, the young miss is here looking totally heartbroken and crying hysterically. On the other end, Mr. Harrison's voice completely spikes. Harper is there. I am coming over right now. Watch her closely. He instantly sprints out of his office. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bar, Chad aggressively flags down a waiter. Is that Long Island iced tea ready? Watch closely because a Long Island iced tea sounds totally innocent, but it is actually heavily spiked with multiple liquors. Sweet taste, sure, but it completely knocks you out cold. You wake up missing huge memory chunks. Chloe simply looks super curious now. Chad, did you just order tea? I think I can handle a little alcohol tonight. Chad smirks evilly. I worried you could not handle real drinks for your first try. Suddenly, before drinks arrive, a stressed older man rushes inside. His sharp eyes scan the room, locking instantly onto Harper. The manager hurries over, but Mr. Harrison simply frowns deeply. Free drinks for everyone. Close the bar early and get everyone out now. The manager announces it, and thrilled patrons cheer while leaving. Chad is absolutely furious. His flawless chance to get Chloe drunk is completely ruined, but fearing a huge scene, he reluctantly follows her right out. Mr. Harrison aggressively marches over and snatches the cocktail directly from Harper's hand. What absolute nonsense is this? You are coming home. Grace quickly intervenes here. Uncle, today is actually her birthday. She waited all week for you two to just come home, but you completely failed her. Harper glares at her shocked father extremely coldly. Stop talking to him. He absolutely does not care. Let us leave. Mr. Harrison completely freezes. He literally forgot her own birthday. He desperately grabs her hand. Harper, Dad was wrong. I broke my promise. I cannot believe you. You only care about your work. She rips her hand away and desperately runs outside. Those harsh words stab Mr. Harrison like sharp knives. You know what hurts most? He remembers his wife leaving for this exact same reason. By the time he finally snaps out of it, she is gone. Right at that precise moment, Harry, his brother Ben, and I finally arrive outside. Ben heard about my awful heartbreak and literally dragged me here for drinks. But seeing the crowds leaving, we instantly realize they are closing early. Just as we turn to leave, I spot Chad and Chloe walking straight out. Wow, just my absolute luck. Chloe sees me and aggressively scoffs, clearly holding an angry grudge over my icy attitude recently. As I slowly turn away, a girl sprints blindly out of the doors and crashes incredibly hard into my chest. I look directly down at the girl resting in my arms. Hey, watch your step. Why the tears? Seeing her messy, crying face, I simply sigh softly. Are you completely okay? Need to rest? Hearing heavy footsteps rapidly approaching behind her, she tightly grabs my hand. I will pay you. Be my boyfriend for today. I blink completely, refusing instantly. No way in hell. How do I know this is not some scam? I try walking away, but she yanks hard. I will give you 10,000 bucks. Just be my fake boyfriend today. If that is low, I pay more. Scanning her expensive head-to-toe designer outfit, I realize she is crazy rich. 10 grand is huge money considering my entire sad net worth is barely 200 bucks. If I take this 10 grand and drop it straight into crypto right now, I am absolutely set forever. I nod so unbelievably fast I almost snap my neck. Hesitating even 1 second longer disrespects that sweet 10 grand. I am Mac, where to boss? The girl squeezes my hand, looking super anxious. I am Harper, just play along with whatever happens. Do not say anything. Suddenly, Mr. Harrison storms out of the bar and seeing our locked hands, his face turns pure thunder. Harper, who on earth is this punk? He is my boyfriend. Grace catches up, standing there equally shocked and confused. Since exactly when did she get a boyfriend? Mr. Harrison looks completely ready to commit a massive crime on this very sidewalk. So what happens next? Harry and Ben's jaws just hit the floor. Mac somehow scored a secret 10 out of 10 dream girlfriend wild. All right, strap in because we're about to jump into pure chaos. Minute 1 on the fake boyfriend job and I'm already fighting a billionaire dad. Mr. Harrison glared daggers right at me. I don't care if you're dating her. Get out! Harper scoffed loudly. We're leaving. She yanked me away. Far off, Chloe watched everything unfold, her eyes totally wide with pure shock. Mac has a girlfriend now. Why is some other girl beside him? Even though she chose Chad, she honestly thought I'd just wait around forever like a fool. He must be pulling this stunt just to make me jealous. Playing hard to get. Harper pulled me down the busy street. Awkward silence hung heavy until I finally spoke. So having a massive fight with your dad? She nodded slowly. Judging by his intense reaction, he clearly cares about you. Hearing those words, Harper started crying all over again. You don't understand. He only cares about his empire, never about my mom or me. She dropped my hand and quickly flagged down a taxi. I sighed, rubbed my aching temples, and chased right after her, even ignoring the fact that I couldn't abandon a crying girl. I was legally bound to protect my $10,000 payday. We hopped inside the cab. Harper had absolutely no clue where to go, just staring out the window with tearful eyes. I told the driver to just drive around town. The cab driver watched us in his mirror, clearly analyzing the awkward situation. Hey kid, you need to comfort your girl when she's upset. Life is tough. You two just need to talk it all out. Harper kept her head completely down, tears quietly dripping down her face. I smiled awkwardly and handed over a tissue. We reached the river. She wanted to walk, so we stopped. Now watch closely, here is where it gets interesting. The driver tossed me a tip. Son, make sure you really comfort her. I laughed. Will do, sir. I faced Harper, ready for a stroll, my lovely girlfriend. Hearing that fake title, Harper blushed bright pink. We're only pretending for today. I gave a soft smile. Today isn't over quite yet, right? Since I took your cash, you're getting top-tier boyfriend services. City lights danced on the water. We strolled along. You totally hired me to tick off your parents so they'd finally notice you, right? Harper stared at me, pure shock and innocence written all over her face. How did you figure that out? I laughed. It isn't rocket science. They're probably always busy working. So you pulled this wild stunt just to force them to look your way. Am I totally right? Harper went completely silent as a tear fell. A month ago, they swore they'd spend this entire week with me. But today is the last day and it's my birthday. I was genuinely stunned. Oh wow, it's her birthday. This lonely rich girl had everything except family warmth. If you go back tonight, I bet they'll drop everything and rush straight home. But forced attendance isn't what you really want, right? My words struck home. She refused to accept a guilt trip visit. She craved real warmth. She let out a hopeless sigh. What else can I even do? Otherwise, they'll never call, let alone come back home. She suddenly grabbed my arm tight. Mac, how do we make them actually believe we're really dating? I smiled. Eat, take photos, watch a movie. But you and I both know how this trope goes. Where do we start, fake girlfriend? Her heart-pounded cheeks burning bright red. I've never dated before. I have no clue. Then just leave it to me. I pointed right at the glowing river. Let's snap a cute selfie and post it. Sound like a plan? She nodded. Smile for me. Step a little closer. You're halfway out of the shot. Harper hesitated, then nervously rested her shoulder right against mine. The second we touched, I snapped the shot. That awkward but super sweet moment was locked in forever. Harper stared right at the picture. She looked super shy, but her eyes were glowing. She quickly uploaded it online, then turned to look right at me. "Mac, let's connect online. I'll send your payment now." I grabbed my phone. "Oh, my adorable little fake girlfriend. Aren't you scared I'll just take your cash and vanish?" She shook her head. "I trust you. You don't seem like a bad guy." I stayed quiet. Sure, I wasn't a villain, but this girl was way too naive. She was basically a giant glowing target for every scammer. Hearing me call her adorable, she flashed a gorgeous smile. Staring out at the water, she felt an unexpected wave of total peace even without her parents, all thanks to the guy beside her. "Thank you so much, Mac." I smiled back, just enjoying the cool evening breeze. It had been a really long time since I felt this peaceful. The last time I stood here was in my past life with Chloe. Back then, she promised we'd always be together. While Harper and I enjoyed the lovely view, Mr. Harrison was totally losing it. Harrison was having a complete total meltdown. Seeing that photo of his precious daughter glued to some random punk, his eyes bulged. He gripped his phone so hard the screen literally shattered. She was ignoring all his frantic calls. Is she seriously with that loser? The thought made his head spin. He instantly ordered his men to tear the city apart searching for us. Meanwhile, Harper's mom, Lily, saw the photo and actually smirked. He needs testing. If he fails, he's done. Her phone rang forever until she shut it off. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. Stick with me. You are about to watch the sweetest fake date ever. Over dinner, he learns Harper had awful health growing up. She even tried high school briefly before switching to homeschooling. Crazy enough, she actually went to his exact same school. Gazing at their massive feast, she shyly asked for another picture. He smiled and totally agreed. Click. She checked the photo and giggled. After eating, he asked about their next stop. She hesitated, saying she wanted to shop. He stared at her expensive designer dress. "You really need more clothes." Embarrassed. She looked away. "I wanted to buy outfits for you." He stood clueless in a luxury men's boutique as she grabbed multiple suits. "I have enough clothes." "You really do not have to. You paid for the ride and dinner, so treating you is totally normal." She argued with pure excitement. She picked outfits that completely upgraded his entire look. When he stepped out, she waved her hand like a total boss. "This looks amazing. Pack them all." He instantly stopped the cashier. "She is only paying for the outfit I am wearing. I will handle the rest." "But I wanted to treat you," she protested. He shook his head. He refused to exploit his fake girlfriend. "Did you want anything for yourself?" She shook her head, eyes glowing as they left. "Boyfriend, let's hit the arcade I have never been." They entered the loud building. While others crowded the fighting cabinets, Harper locked onto a corner claw machine. She pointed at a pink teddy bear. "That bear is adorable. Let's win it." He dropped a coin in. She stood frozen in pure anticipation. He moved the stick, grabbed the bear, but it sadly slipped halfway down there. She looked super crushed. "Do not worry, let's go again." She nodded, focusing intensely now. This time he lined it up perfectly and dropped the bear inside. She jumped up, cheering loudly. "Thank you, Mac. This bear is yours. Now I will win that pink bunny." He perfectly guided the claw, snagging the bunny on try number 1. Harper clapped, hugging the toy super tightly. "You feel that too, right?" Seeing her completely happy felt incredible, a feeling his ex Chloe never ever gave him. They played games, laughing like a true couple. Around 10:30 p.m., he finally spoke up. "Let me take you home." She stopped staring at her flooded notification screen. "I do not want to go." But she knew the mission ended. Returning meant facing her parents. Her eyes looked incredibly sad. "Today is my birthday. If I go back, they will throw a massive party." "Hey, cheer up." He made a ridiculous face, making her laugh. Then her cousin Grace called. She answered immediately. "Harper, thank goodness. Where are you? I am picking you up now." She shared the address quickly. He smiled. "Looks like your ride is arriving. I have no gift, so please accept my best wishes." She beamed, raising the plush bunny. "I already got my gift. Thank you. Your sister is close, so I will head out. See ya. Wait, I owe money." Harper grabbed his hand, refusing to let go. He lifted the shopping bags. "These more than cover it." She watched quietly as he walked away alone. Minutes later, Grace arrived. Seeing Harper holding a bunny, she panicked. "I was so worried." "I am fine. Look at this bunny. Did you win it?" "No, Mac won it." Grace frowned hard. "There are bad guys out there. What if he wanted something? Mac is a great guy. He went to my old school. He just left. Let's drive and catch up now." Now watch closely. Checking his novel app while walking, his jaw completely dropped to the floor. The app was exploding with notifications. An editor messaged about a contract offer. Wait, do they not only review drafts on Mondays? The chief editor demanded his contact info. His flawless story was a certified masterpiece no matter what crazy timeline he was living in. Grace drove Harper everywhere, searching, finding absolutely nothing. Assuming he went home, Grace almost turned around when the chief editor suddenly called her up. They finally found his contact details and quickly forwarded everything right over. While Grace talked, Harper was busy transferring $10,000 to his account on her phone. The transfer clears. His phone rings right outside their car. Trust me. You and I need to see what happens next. Ding. $10,000 transferred. Grace jumped. Stick with me for this chaos. I stopped in my tracks to answer. Hello, who is this? The car window slowly rolled down. A stunning, ice-cold woman just glared at me. Her voice echoed from the phone and car at once. It is me. Then Harper happily waved from the passenger seat. Mac, we finally meet. I awkwardly smiled right at the intense woman. Hello, ma'am. Are you Harper's mom? Calling her ma'am, huge mistake. Grace's eyes went wide, her expression freezing over. Is this guy actually serious? But she kept her cool, staring me down like absolute ice. You are Mac. What is it going to take to leave my sister alone? Hearing this so-called young mother talk, my brain instantly flashed to every dramatic anime trope ever created. But since Harper actually paid me 10 grand, I had to play the part perfectly. I could not let her mom catch a single flaw. I stared her dead in the eye, my voice totally rock solid. Ma'am, Harper and I are deeply in love. No matter what, I am never leaving her. Now watch closely. Grace sneakily turns on her phone's secret voice recorder. She spoke slowly, dripping with that fake politeness and pure disgust. I have seen plenty of guys like you. You claim it is true love, but in the end, is it not always a scam? My feelings for Harper are completely real. I will prove it. Harper jumped in fast. Mom, Mac treats me wonderfully. Just give us a chance. But Grace stayed completely on guard. How did you two even meet anyway? We met back in 10th grade. Even though she was only at my school for 1 month, she was absolutely brilliant. We constantly tackled homework together, and eventually we just fell hard. Oh, so your grades must be pretty excellent then, huh? Academics. My absolute superpower. I fired back with total confidence. I am literally always top of the school, sometimes ranking #1 in the whole city. Grace studied my confident vibe, thinking to herself, no wonder he writes massive world-building novels at this age, but out loud she just scoffed. Good grades are simply not enough for her. Understood. I might be totally broke right now, but that does not mean my future is empty. Hearing this, Grace softened up slightly. I believe you can succeed, but I hope you are not just using my sister for fast cash. Flashing back to my day with Harper, I realized something huge. Finding someone you genuinely like while young, an absolute massive blessing. In my past life, my youth was meant to be amazing. But thanks to Chloe, it was painfully dark and lonely. Now getting this epic second chance with Harper, my feelings were finally being returned. That is something Chloe literally never once did for me. You and I both know the absolute truth now. Real love goes both ways. Seeing Harper flush so red, pure warmth just exploded in my chest. I stared down Grace with sheer absolute determination. Finding Harper is the absolute luckiest thing to ever happen to me. I promise I will always treat her right. Hearing my vow, Harper's heart totally skipped a beat, ears burning bright red. She never felt this kind of magical connection before. Grace silently watched our dramatic reactions. Did they seriously catch deep feelings in half a day? She quickly regained her icy composure. Where do you live? I will drive you. No need. I can just grab a cab. Get in. I surrendered my address and slid into the back seat. Harper immediately hopped out of the front and squeezed right in next to me. Boyfriend. I panicked, frantically motioning toward Grace with my wide eyes. Your mom is literally sitting right there. To my total shock, Harper burst laughing. You seriously have not figured it out. This is the cool cousin I mentioned. Grace is definitely not my mom. How could she look this young and be mom? I wanted the literal earth to swallow me whole. I assumed her parents married super young or her mom had some insane anti-aging genetics. Calling her ma'am earlier was monumentally embarrassing. Grace just chuckled. Mac, zero worries. If you are totally sincere about Harper, my aunt is easygoing, though my Uncle A bit overly traditional. He might be a really tough boss to beat. I took a deep breath. Thank you, Grace. I completely understand his concerns. I will work incredibly hard to level up until I earn his full approval. Harper's heart completely melted, squeezing my hand tightly. Soon my drop-off intersection arrived. Harper waved at me brightly. "See you in a few days, Mac." I waved right back, walking the rest of the dark way home. Passing a pitch-black alley, someone suddenly grabbed my shoulder hard. Instant survival reflexes kicked in. I spun around, throwing a blind punch. "Ouch, Mac, are you crazy?" a familiar, annoying voice shrieked. I squinted hard. It was Chloe, angrily rubbing her arm in pain. "Oh, just you. I thought you were a mugger." Chloe was absolutely furious. "Do I look like a mugger to you? And that girl today, she is your new girlfriend, right?" She glared, dagger eyes at me. "Is that your business? Go straight home, Chloe." I turned to walk away. Watching me leave, she stomped her foot in pure rage. "Mac, you hit me. You need to apologize. If you do not, I am telling your parents." She looked smug, expecting me to stop. I did stop, but turned around with absolute ice in my eyes. "Do whatever, but Chloe, keep hiding those missing 2 days. Trust me, you and I are going to watch karma strike next." She paled instantly. Stick with me here. If her folks discovered she was clubbing with Chad instead of studying, she'd be grounded forever. "If you want this kept quiet, stop bothering me," I told her. She had absolutely zero comeback. Angry tears welled up instantly. Stomping her foot in pure frustration, she sprinted all the way home, desperately holding back her loud sobs. Back inside her bedroom, she stared at that pink stuffed bunny I won her years ago. She snatched it, throwing punches. "Mac, you jerk, you're the worst!" Burying her face in her pillow, she sobbed. Suddenly her phone buzzed. Vivian was calling. "Chloe, you haven't seen me in 2 days. I am literally dying of boredom." Thinking about those 2 days, Chloe forced a fake smile. Despite being annoyed, she still enjoyed Chad's company. "I was just hanging out with Chad. He is actually super sweet." Knowing I had never touched alcohol before, he ordered me a Long Island iced tea. Vivian bolted upright in bed like lightning just struck her. "A Long Island iced tea. Chloe, are you absolutely sure?" Confused, Chloe muttered, "Yeah, but the bar closed early, so I never drank it." Vivian immediately let out a massive sigh of relief. "Oh my God, girl, are you that naive? A Long Island iced tea is just straight alcohol disguised to taste completely sweet. Watch closely here. 1 drink equals a blackout." Chloe froze, remembering the super sleazy look in Chad's eyes. A chill ran down her spine. Was he planning to harm me? She hung up, watching the moonlight pour through her window while silent tears fell. Looking back at her time with Chad, that exciting initial thrill completely vanished. He basically treated her like absolute trash. Thinking about it now, massive regret washed over her. Her sad eyes slowly drifted toward my house. She left the cake untouched. Instead, she dashed upstairs to Grace's room, forwarded my confession recording to her mom, and stepped out onto the balcony to call me up. "Mac, you actually wrote The Flawless Realm, right?" I burst out laughing. "Wow, you and Mr. Harrison really run some intense background checks, huh?" Grace chuckled warmly. "You think my uncle and I are the FBI? I'm the CEO of Tomato Novels, the exact site you uploaded to." I was totally shocked. "Are you actually serious?" "I am, and your book has massive potential. Sign an exclusive deal with me." "Wait, is your company in trouble?" Grace laughed. "You're way too smart. Just sign the contract. Update regularly, and I will plaster your story across every single front-page banner we have." I took a deep breath. If you offer that, I'd be an idiot to refuse. After hanging up, I checked out Tomato Novels, a platform I'd never seen before. The butterfly effect was totally in full swing here, and I was the exact butterfly. Time flew. A week later, The Flawless Realm reached 200,000 words. Grace kept her promise, rocketing it everywhere. The novel exploded. This plot had readers in a chokehold, and the website's traffic skyrocketed. Grace's phone was ringing non-stop. Harper placed down the printed manuscript. "Grace, why on earth is your phone blowing up today?" Grace pinched her cheek. "Ask your boyfriend. That book you told me to read, the one he wrote? Here's the twist. It is breaking the internet." Harper gasped. "Wait, my boyfriend actually wrote this?" "Yep, it just warned me our servers might crash from all the heavy traffic. Honestly, your guy is a total genius." Harper beamed with massive pride. Meanwhile, that same week, Chloe was really struggling. She ignored Chad for days, but eventually caved to his totally relentless begging. Then, cracking completely under his heavy pressure, she made an impulsive decision to get tattooed. Right after it was done, intense regret hit her hard. If her dad ever found out, he'd absolutely end her. If her classmates spotted it, she literally couldn't even imagine the vicious gossip. Her immediate instinct was Googling how to get it completely removed. Discovering laser removal actually existed. She finally breathed a massive sigh of relief. The following morning, Harper texted me saying she had a huge surprise prepared for today. But no matter how much I begged, she wouldn't tell me. I just rode my bike to school. While locking it up, a sleek black Audi pulled right up to the gates. The window rolled down, revealing Chloe's dad, Mr. Carter. He smiled warmly. "Mac, long time no see, morning, Mr. Carter. You're dropping her off today." He smiled helplessly. "Chloe's mom totally forced me to. Chloe, go walk inside with Mac." She stepped out looking absolutely annoyed. Mr. Carter waved goodbye and drove away. I completely ignored her, walking straight toward the school building. She huffed angrily, thinking I won't talk until he apologizes. Let's just see who cracks first. We walked to class in pure, dead silence. Back at our desks, Harry leaned over, wearing a wicked grin. "Dude, you are an absolute legend. I thought you were dying heartbroken, but you secretly bagged a 10 out of 10 girlfriend." I just rolled my eyes. When was my heart ever broken? Move. Let me study. Our teacher lectured passionately, but Chloe completely zoned out. She was heavily stressing over her new tattoo and arguing with Chad until 3 in the morning. Right as she dozed off, the teacher yelled, "Chloe, come solve this equation. You and I gotta see what happens next." "All right, let's dive right into this wild drama." She checked the board and absolutely panicked. Forgetting the standard formula, she used an insanely long, twisted method to solve it. The teacher nodded slowly. "Correct, but next time just use the standard formula. It is much simpler." Chloe flushed. Dating Chad for a week had practically fried her entire brain. Later, during Miss Turner's literature class, she was suddenly called upon to recite poetry. She stuttered through the whole thing, only finishing because some guy whispered the lines. Thanking him, she just stared blankly at her desk, lost in thought. 20 minutes later, high heels clicked closer. Miss Turner walked right in with a bright smile, followed closely by an absolutely stunning, totally elegant girl. This new girl stood at the podium, instantly sucking all the oxygen from the room. Chloe gripped her pen tight, realizing she looked awfully familiar. The class erupted in wild whispers. Harry's eyes nearly popped out of his skull. "Sister-in-law," he violently shoved my shoulder. "Mac, look, it's her." I looked up at Harper, standing right at the front of the room. My jaw literally hit the floor. Harper saw me flashing a radiant smile that basically screamed surprise. Miss Turner clapped her hands. "Quiet down, everyone. This is Harper. She was in the arts track during 10th grade, but due to health reasons, she was homeschooled. Now she is back." Hearing that name, Chloe instantly realized this was the same girl who dragged me out of the bar. Why is she here? Seeing my massive smile, Chloe absolutely fumed. Harper realized she's better suited for the sciences track, so she's transferring to our class, Miss Turner explained. "Now watch this genius, wingman." Harry scanned the room. One single empty seat in the back corner. He grinned wickedly. "Mac, for the sake of your future happiness, I will make the ultimate sacrifice. Do not waste this epic assist, bro." Before I could even figure out what he was doing, Harry shot his hand up. "Miss Turner, Harper has a weak constitution, right? Sitting in the back corner might be terrible for her. She can have my seat," Miss Turner beamed. "Harry, what an absolute gentleman. Mac, make sure you help her get caught up. I am heading to the back." Harry grabbed his books and bolted, winking at me on the way. I just shook my head, half annoyed but mostly amused. He was still the ultimate wingman. Harper walked over and sat down, giving me the sweetest smile. "Hi, Mac. Please take care of me from now on." "Welcome back, Harper. Ask me if you need help with anything." She leaned on the desk, tilting her head playfully. "Is there anything you don't know, Mac?" Her adorable gesture made me look away quickly. "Of course there is an entire ocean of knowledge out there. You are from the arts track. I will be asking you for help too." Harper leaned in close to my ear and whispered, "Boyfriend, let's study hard together." I leaned back and whispered softly, "Aren't you afraid people will hear us? Just call me Mac while at school." She blushed a deep red and giggled shyly. Suddenly, a classmate tapped Harper on the shoulder. "Hey, pass this note over to Mac." Harper hesitated, then handed me the folded paper. "Someone sent you a note." I opened it up. It was actually Chloe's handwriting. "Now I know what you are thinking." She wrote, "Mac, I'm over Chad. Can we pretend nothing happened?" I read the note, ripped it into tiny confetti, and tossed it straight into the trash can. Chloe watched me, nearly biting her lip off in pure anger. Since the monthly exams were coming up, the class atmosphere was tense. Harper and I constantly discussed problems together, fully encouraging each other. Our bond grew stronger every day. I genuinely loved this amazing dynamic. Harper was gentle, thoughtful, and shared every little thing with me. She was nothing like Chloe, who always acted like a spoiled princess just waiting to be served. Watching us, Chloe felt totally physically sick. She ignored Chad for days and basically offered me an olive branch, but I treated her like invisible air. Seeing me smile at Harper, she absolutely finally snapped. After school ended, Chloe stormed right over to my desk. "Mac, you used to say you only treated me well. I forbid you to smile at her, and I forbid you to be nice to her." I looked at her blankly. "Chloe, do you hear yourself? You sound completely insane. Why on earth would I listen to you?" Harper, remembering that ripped-up note, understood the whole situation perfectly. She smiled politely at Chloe. "Chloe, I understand you might have special feelings for Mac, but true relationships are always built on mutual respect. Please respect Mac's choices." Chloe fiercely glared at her. "What are you implying, that I do not respect his choices?" Harper smiled faintly. "Isn't it obvious, Harper? I demand that you switch seats with me." I let out a cold laugh. "Chloe, seats are not musical chairs. If you want to switch, go talk to Miss Turner." Chloe instantly flinched. "Go to Miss Turner." She was already on very thin ice for skipping class. That would be walking straight into the lion's den. She stomped right back to her seat, buried her face into her arms, and started crying silently. "Mac, you jerk! What does she have that I lack?" That afternoon, during the 2-hour dinner break before evening study, I looked around the room, and that's where we pause. Just a sobbing Chloe buried at her desk, and Harper sitting happily beside me. Insane, right? "All right, you and I are jumping right in," I told Harper. "Let's grab food and tour the school." She wanted to, but worried too much about my exams. "Mac, you really don't have to. We have plenty of time. Let's just go." Harper then glanced at Chloe. "Should we wake her up?" I didn't even bother turning my head. "Nope. She has her best friend and a boyfriend to worry about her. We are definitely not needed." Hearing our footsteps fade, Chloe lifted her head, her teary eyes watching our backs leave. "Mac, you massive jerk! Why do you like her and not me?" I showed Harper around. Reaching the huge sports field, she looked at the kids playing with pure envy. "What kind of sports do you like?" I asked. She looked down. "I was always super sick, so my parents forbade sports. I honestly don't know." "Oh man, sorry I brought that up at all." She looked straight up with a bright smile. "It is okay, I am way healthier now anyway. Then I will totally teach you ping pong later." We casually strolled over to the geography garden's cool terrain models. As an ex-art student, Harper instantly came alive. "Mac, thanks for the tour. Now welcome to my turf." She passionately pointed out the epic models, explaining everything from the towering Himalayas down to the deep Mariana Trench. She totally transported me into another world. "Harper, you are an amazing storyteller. Way better than our actual teacher." "Oh, stop it! I am not that good!" She laughed, looking incredibly proud of herself. We grabbed some tasty food and headed back. Suddenly, my phone rang. "Uncle Tom," I told Harper to go ahead, stepping outside to take his call. "Did you finally get the evidence of Chad bullying those students?" I asked eagerly. Uncle Tom sounded perfectly steady. "Yep, my guys recovered the security footage his family tried hiding, and we got the witness statements too." "Awesome, thanks, Uncle. Now pay close attention. We have both been completely sick of the Sterling family's total arrogance for a long while. They absolutely brought this on themselves." He then mentioned the poor student Chad had brutally hurt. That student's mother worked at the Sterling factory. Forced into crazy overtime, she got her arm trapped in their heavy machine and tragically lost it for good. Instead of paying her bills, the factory blamed her for the damage and demanded millions in unfair compensation. I took a deep breath. "Uncle, that is pure evil. I am leaking Chad's bullying videos online and alerting the media once everyone's attention is focused on him. You dropped the factory bombshell to bury the Sterling family for good." Hanging up, I remembered the deep betrayal Chad had struck me with in my past life. I smiled grimly. After receiving those heavy files from Uncle Tom, I used a burner account to blast them everywhere online. Back inside the classroom, Chloe felt totally humiliated. Chad had just arrived to see her, but when a classmate accidentally bumped him, Chad completely lost his mind and started beating the poor kid. Luckily, a patrolling teacher intervened, dragging Chad straight to the office. But the classroom whispers were absolutely relentless. What is wrong with Chloe? She dumped Mac for a literal thug. Seriously, talk about a downgrade. Must be nice being completely blind. Chloe felt like she was being torn completely apart by their cruel words. You and I saw this coming. She finally wondered if picking Chad was a mistake. Suddenly, I felt someone staring. I looked straight up to see Chloe watching me. When our eyes met, she quickly looked away, hurrying out alongside Vivian. Vivian even had the absolute nerve to stick her tongue out at me. Chloe just sighed, following her out. I turned toward Harper. It's late. Let me walk you home. Harper just blinked. Only walk me to the gate. Honestly, she hated going home to a totally empty house. We strolled over to the main gate. A Rolls-Royce honked twice. Harper looked at me nervously. Mac, do you want my driver to take you home? I shook my head. Nope, I got my bike. She waved and hopped inside. Suddenly, Chloe's voice called out loud. Mac, I saw her standing totally alone on the sidewalk looking pathetic. But I acted deaf, grabbed my bike, and started walking away from her. Chloe's eyes filled with heavy tears. Her parents were super busy tonight and could not pick her up, telling her to catch a ride with me. But I completely ignored her. Dreading that dark walk home, she totally panicked and ran to block my path. Mac, take me home. I refused to look at her. Why on earth would I do that? My parents are busy. My mom told me to go with you. As she spoke, the street lights suddenly flickered and died, plunging the whole intersection into total darkness. Please, Mac, I am terrified. My only response was the loud clicking of my bike chain as I pedaled away. Use your phone flashlight. I am busy. Chloe watched me disappear into the darkness, feeling totally abandoned. She suddenly remembered Vivian's ridiculous warnings. Chloe walking totally alone at night is super dangerous. What if you get snatched by thugs and sold to some creepy mountain guy? So what do we make of this? She stood shivering in fear. Meanwhile, a shiny Mercedes just pulled up right next to my bike. Stick with me here. The car window rolled down. It was my smiling dad. What are you doing here? He finished work early and stopped by. Where is Chloe? Mr. Carter wanted us to drive her home. I just stayed completely silent. I told him I would go get her. Even though I disliked the girl, our families remained close. Leaving her alone in the dark street felt wrong. I spun my bike around. There she was, crouching on the pavement, crying quietly while whispering my name. Chloe, get an Uber next time you need a ride. I am done doing this. She slowly looked up. Tears covered her face. Mac, I knew you would come back. I totally ignored her and just rode away. Her injured knee made her limp as she struggled to follow me. Watching my back, she suddenly remembered all those sweet times I walked her home. Strangely enough, my presence made her feel super safe again. But my icy attitude really confused her. Mac, you read that note I left, right? She waited for my reply, but I just gave her silence. A massive wave of loneliness hit her like a lost little kitten. Getting into my dad's car, I still refused to say anything. Chloe climbed into the passenger seat. My dad glared at me. Why not open the door for her? Well, she has hands. Dad looked stern, finally realizing Mom was completely right. I really disliked Chloe now. She quickly jumped in. It is fine, Mr. Arthur, I can manage. He sighed, starting the engine. Fast forward 3 days, the internet went crazy over the Sterling family drama. Now watch closely. Chad strutted around school like an absolute boss, thinking his rich dad would magically erase all his problems. During lunch break, he barged into our classroom looking for Chloe, but suddenly picked a huge fight with another student. He fiercely knocked the poor kid down. The entire class felt furious but completely terrified. Chad loved their fear, feeling like a total king. He smirked right at Chloe to show off his intense tough guy act. But Harper was not having any of it. She already called the police. Hanging up, she stood tall and glared. How dare you bully innocent people? Chad prepared to yell, but the second he saw Harper's beautiful face, he just froze. Being slightly dizzy, he never noticed such a stunning girl in our class. He reached out to touch her cheek. Boom! Harper aggressively slapped his hand right away. Absolutely furious, Chad raised his fist high. Right at that exact moment, I confidently walked in. Grabbing a massive, heavy English dictionary, I tossed it directly at his head. Chad howled in serious pain. Spinning around, he spotted me and completely lost it. He charged forward, throwing a wild punch. I just casually raised my hand, caught his fist midair, and twisted it super hard. Mac, you absolute trash, you dare strike me. Do you even know who my dad is? I just scoffed. You attack innocent people and still play the victim. Who cares if your dad is Mr. Sterling? This is a school, not your own personal playground. Chad fiercely gritted his teeth, wanting to scream more threats, but the intense glare in my eyes forced him to swallow his pride. I looked over at Harper, giving her a very reassuring nod. The The whole class erupted with emotion, staring at me like a true hero. Chad's face turned purple. You and I know getting humiliated in front of Chloe was the absolute ultimate insult. "You are finished, Mac!" he roared loudly, trying to bolt out the classroom door to save face. But I blocked his path. "Where are you going? The police are not here yet. Sit down like a good boy and wait." He struggled wildly. "I am leaving now. Who is stopping me?" "I am—" Miss Turner's voice cut right through the noise. "Chad, you are officially accused of assault. You are staying until your parents and the police resolve this mess." Completely panicking, Chad quickly yanked out his phone. "Dad, some kid is bullying me." Hearing him cry to his dad, the class got incredibly hyped. Everyone knew exactly what was going to happen next. Several rich kids pulled out their own phones. "Hey, Dad, yeah, immediately cancel our business contract with the Sterlings. Some blonde punk is attacking people here. Auntie, yeah, cut all ties with the Sterling factory, watching everything spiral out of control." Chad stood completely dumbfounded. Down in the office, Mr. Sterling was actually discussing a truly massive donation for the brand new science building. Hearing his son's frantic call, he frowned, hung up, and glared at Principal Lewis. "Principal Lewis, my precious son is being bullied here. How exactly are you running this entire school?" Lewis knew Mr. Sterling was absolutely ruthless, but this mess involved students from very powerful families. Handling this poorly meant deeply offending every single one. "Sterling, I was just informed. We will investigate and handle this fairly." Mr. Sterling coldly sneered. "Fairly, you know how much cash I pump into this school. I expect a very satisfactory answer." Principal Lewis took a heavy breath. Losing that Sterling fortune would be a complete disaster. He rushed to our classroom. After hearing the students and teachers explain everything, he secretly cursed Chad's entire arrogant bloodline. He seriously regretted accepting this awful kid just for donation money. Desperate to save his own job, he looked at me. "Mac, let him go. Both of you step outside." Miss Turner glared. Sweeping this away, "Trust me, you will want to see what happens." "Everyone calm down," Principal Lewis announced. The principal decided Chad goes home for discipline. He stays away until his terrible behavior is totally fixed. "You and I know this unfair trick. Mac gets suspended too, just to cool off." I frowned completely. This meant Chad walks completely free. The whole class raged. "Are you kidding? He threw punches and we have proof. Mac just protected innocent people. Why send him away?" Principal Lewis scowled. "Enough! I do not care who started this. Both of you go home and reflect." Chad smirked so proudly. "See that, Mac? Understand now? A broke zero cannot touch me." Lewis cringed hard. This foolish kid refuses to shut up. Facing this blatant corruption, I stared Lewis down entirely. Chad completely attacked a student and me. Everyone here saw it. I used self-defense. If rich donor dads buy free passes, where is the actual justice in this school? Keep pushing this, and I will happily expose your total negligence straight to the media. Lewis turned pale. He never expected a teenager to threaten him. Today, online public opinion hits like an absolute truck. Going viral means forced resignation tomorrow. Gritting his teeth, he was finally ready to just expel Chad. "Now pay attention here," Mr. Sterling suddenly bursts inside with bodyguards. "Who on earth is Mac?" I stood firm, staring right back. "Looks like someone arrived in a hurry." Principal Lewis panicked immediately. "Mr. Sterling, please, we are handling it. Handling it. My son was injured. How will you fix this?" Sterling turned toward me directly. "You must be Mac. Heard you fight well. Let us test your real toughness now." Harper quickly stepped forward, squeezing my hand tight. I smiled warmly. "It is okay, Grace." Then I smirked coldly at Sterling. Right then, massive news about the Sterling factory labor scandals was officially exploding online and hitting every single major authority desk. The real storm arrived. "Think you own this entire city, Mr. Sterling?" I asked mockingly. "I do not own it, but crushing you is totally effortless. Beg my son on your knees or enjoy jail forever, Mr. Sterling. You should seriously go check the breaking news. Might find a fun surprise." He ignored me completely until his private phone loudly rang. Cold sweat dropped down. Only total disasters used that private line. "Boss, we are completely ruined. Everything leaked. Police are raiding the factory." Sterling dropped his phone in shock. Remembering my warning, he glared furiously. "You caused this, you little punk. Do not flatter me. Did you not do those crimes yourself?" he roared. "Mac, you wrecked my entire life work. Even going to prison, I am taking you down," he signaled bodyguards. "We both know he is done. You have serious nerve. Sterling thinking you run things. A booming voice echoed loudly. Mr. Harrison Harper's father strode inside, perfectly flanked by the police chief and several top city officials. Sterling turned around fast, saw this huge lineup of absolute powerhouses, and literally collapsed onto the floor. He knew it was over. He turned screaming at Chad, loudly blaming him for everything. Our class laughed hard. Ultimate karma, Chad was totally getting expelled and definitely heading to juvenile detention. Chad panicked hard, looking so desperately toward Chloe. "Chloe, you are my girlfriend, right? Will you visit the police station with me?" The entire class judged Chloe with intense stares. Staying with him meant social ruin forever. Chloe backed away super fast. "I am not going." She never truly liked him anyway. She just loved the cool attention from dating the bad boy. Now this connection ruined her perfect reputation. Seeing disgusted classmate looks, she panicked. Chad was purely stunned. Toxic hatred filled his glaring eyes, locking straight onto me. "Mac, this is completely your fault." Police dragged him away while everyone cheered. I followed behind for my statement until disaster wildly struck. Using one distracted officer, Chad pulled a hidden switchblade right from his jacket, lunging straight toward me. Harper spotted the steel flashing and loudly screamed out, "Mac, look out right now." She lunged, trying to shield me completely. My pupils dilated fast. Grabbing her waist, I spun us, pulling her tightly close. Slice. The sharp blade completely tore my arm, leaving a massive gaping wound. Thankfully, it entirely missed vital spots. Police instantly tackled Chad down, pinning him while he raged furiously. Mac Harper saw the dark stain soaking my sleeve, bursting into heavy tears. "Are you okay?" She tore her jacket, tying it super tight above the huge wound. I smiled gently. "I am perfectly fine." Let that sink in for a second. Chloe stood frozen, totally shocked. Her rejection triggered this huge chaos. "Stick with me." Pure panic consumed her. "Mac, are you okay?" she screamed. The nurse rushed over, quickly applying first aid. It missed the worst spots, but he needs to reach the hospital for proper care right away. Mr. Harrison shoved through the frantic crowd, grabbing her. "Are you hurt?" "I am fine, but Mac is badly hurt." "Dad, get the car. We need the hospital." Hearing Harper finally call him Dad, Mr. Harrison felt overwhelming joy. He instantly ordered his personal bodyguards to help load me onto a medical stretcher. Harper walked beside me, squeezing my safe hand. "You will be okay, boyfriend. You will be fine." I nodded, looking completely drained. Seeing this, her tears fell even faster. At the hospital, they rushed me inside. Harper paced outside anxiously. For the very first time, someone had genuinely risked absolutely everything to protect her. She tried taking the strike, but I easily overpowered her, taking the massive hit instead. She knew she would never forget feeling so protected. "Harper, hey Harper." Chloe's voice echoed down the hallway. "Is Mac okay?" Harper stared, completely unreadable. "He will recover." "Chloe, if you have nothing to do, just go home. I will watch him." Chloe's stomach twisted tightly. Mac and I are close childhood friends. Seeing him injured really breaks my heart. Harper felt conflicted but stood firm. "If you must wait, find a seat." Mr. Harrison walked over, visibly stressed. "Harper, are you totally safe?" She shook her head, staring. "Here is where it gets interesting." Mr. Harrison remembered me shielding his daughter, plus my bold words. He sighed heavily. "This boy will pull through." Opening my eyes, Harper stood beside my bed, holding my hand, eyes practically shining with tears. "Mac, you woke up. Stay still, stitches might tear." Mr. Harrison stepped forward, holding a highly complex expression. "Rest up, Mac." This average guy had, during pure danger, risked absolutely everything to save his daughter. I stared at the wealthy billionaire. Past life, he only existed on the news. "I am fine, Mr. Harrison. Thanks for asking." Mr. Harrison stared deeply into my eyes. "Mac, why take that strike for Harper? An inch left and you could be gone forever." I looked at Harper, eyes full of warmth. "Because Harper is my world, I refused to see her hurt." My voice stayed firm. From the second she tried blocking that attack, I knew I was wildly in love with a girl willing to risk it all for me. Outside that cracked door, Chloe heard everything. Her heart completely shattered into tiny pieces. "You and I both saw this coming, right? The guy who was hers was gone and she ruined it entirely herself." Looking completely defeated, she turned and drifted away like a ghost, vanishing down the lonely corridor. Right then, Harper's mom rushed inside. Seeing Chloe walking like a total zombie, she suddenly paused. Why does she look like her world crashed? She shook it off, hurrying inside. "Harper." She hugged her tight. "You terrified me, Mom. I am fine, but Mac got hurt." Lily turned, gaze evaluating but deeply grateful. "You are Mac. Thanks for saving my baby. So incredibly brave." Her sudden warmth surprised me. "Thanks, ma'am. It was the only right move." Mr. Harrison watched closely. Initially, he completely wrote me off. I lacked the wealth to give Harper a fancy life. But today, everything shifted. Money? Did he actually lack money? Unlike those useless elite kids, I showed real courage and accountability. "You cannot buy that. Harper, walk with your mother. Get air. I need Mac alone." Harper hesitated, glancing back before her mom pulled her outside. Outside, Harper missed Chloe. "Mom, did you see that girl sitting here? I saw someone walking away when I came inside. Probably getting air." Inside, Mr. Harrison approached the window, seemingly lost in deep thought. He turned back, gaze piercing. "Mac, I admit I judged you prematurely. I doubted you could bring Harper happiness. But today I saw true bravery. Money cannot buy that. Mr. Harrison, I understand your worries, but please believe me. I will do everything to make her unconditionally happy. I believe your intentions, but good intentions are not enough to hand my daughter over." I knew exactly what he meant. I had zero money, career, or status. Without taking that hit for his daughter today, he would never be having this conversation with me. So where do we go from here? Trust me, this wild rebirth just collided their entirely different worlds. Stick with me, you and I are about to watch a reborn legend silence his doubters. Give me 1 year to smash my first financial goal. Mr. Harrison just laughed out loud, a booming and genuine sound. You are totally straightforward, not playing games like those corporate fakes. You are right. Harper inherits my empire, but she is far too gentle to run the Harrison Group alone. I need a strong partner beside her holding the fort. If that guy only has love and zero ambition, I will never ever approve this marriage. He crossed his arms, looking like an absolute industry titan. Here is the bottom line. Within 3 years, you must make $1 billion. He stared intensely. Accept the deal and he would secretly pave the entire road to success. Flinch now and he completely cuts me off from his daughter. He hates cowards. Mr. Harrison, I gladly accept your crazy terms right now. I am reincarnated, armed with perfect memories of the future. If I fail to make $1 billion in 3 years, I might as well have lost to Chad. I would be a total disgrace to the epic concept of rebirth. Mr. Harrison was completely stunned. He never expected me to agree that fast without a single second of hesitation. Now pay close attention here. Rapid footsteps echoed wildly as the door flew open. Grace burst inside, panting heavily. Lily looked so shocked. "Grace, weren't you flying to Capital City this morning? What happened?" "Auntie, it is a massive emergency. I need Mac right now." Mr. Harrison looked totally confused. Why is a tech CEO desperately seeking a high school kid like him? It looked super urgent. He quietly analyzed the wild panic in her eyes. Wait, does Grace actually have a crush on Mac? No way, playing the chill, considerate uncle role. He sighed playfully. All right, I guess I am the ultimate third wheel today. I will step out, talk. I just looked at Grace, highly amused by this pure, chaotic energy. Grace, why the sudden massive panic? I chuckled, breaking that awkward silence as Mr. Harrison closed the door. Grace rested her hands on her knees, catching her breath, then shoved her glowing phone right into my hands. Mac, are you absolutely kidding me? The Flawless Realm just crashed Tomato Novels servers. 2 massive entertainment giants and a top-tier Japanese animation studio just called my direct line. Pure madness. They want full adaptation rights, the crazy price they offered. Oh my goodness, it could save my entire company 10 times over. I stared at those huge numbers dancing on screen, the corner of my lips curling upwards. You and I know a masterpiece always wins, but sell everything outright. No way. That is not how future billionaires operate. Grace, I replied so calmly, my eyes sharp. We are not selling outright. Go negotiate hard on my behalf. I am keeping 40% equity in all adaptation projects, anime, live action, and games. In return, I am pouring all initial licensing fees directly into Tomato Novels. We are building a massive multimedia entertainment empire right now. I become the largest shareholder and you stay as CEO. Grace was left completely speechless. Standing right in front of her was not some high school kid who just survived a brutal attack, but a true mastermind of the entire business world. She swallowed hard and nodded so firmly. Deal. I am getting to work immediately. The hospital door shifted slightly. Mr. Harrison stepped right back inside. He had been waiting outside long enough to hear that epic business exchange. His gaze held way more than simple approval. It was a flash of sheer astonishment, mixed with deep pride. That $1 billion bet in 3 years, it seemed this genius kid would crush it way sooner than expected. 3 whole years later, on a massive LED screen right in downtown, the epic trailer for Season 2 of the blockbuster anime The Flawless Realm played, capturing millions of eyes. The M&H Entertainment Group logo sat proudly on screen as the main producer and global distributor. Across the street, in a totally dingy cafe, Chloe stood wearing a messy waitress uniform, staring blankly at that giant screen. Her eyes showed nothing but deep exhaustion and absolutely crushing regret. Following that wild incident with Chad, the Sterling family went bankrupt. He was currently rotting away in prison, serving a 10-year sentence. As for Chloe, completely wrapped up in scandals and totally isolated, she miserably failed her college exams, and her family took a massive, devastating hit after her father's business completely collapsed. Vivian, her former best friend, vanished into thin air long ago. "What are you staring at? Did you finish wiping table 4? Her manager's loud bark yanked Chloe back to reality. She ducked her head hurriedly, hiding the newspaper in her hands. On that front page was a photo of Mac, now one of the youngest billionaires globally, holding hands with his radiant fiancée Harper at their incredible engagement party of the century. He wore a perfectly tailored suit radiating pure power. Trust me, you and I both know that confident smile was once reserved solely for her. Chloe bit her lip, hard, salty tears falling freely onto the grimy table. Her heart felt like it was being completely shredded by 1,000 sharp shards of glass. Let's be real, you and I saw this coming. She had the brightest diamond, but tossed it into the mud just to chase a completely worthless little pebble. Now she just has to live out her remaining days in pure, suffocating regret, forced to look up at the very man she trampled on, now standing at absolute peak success. At that exact moment, on the corporate tower's top floor, I was hugging Harper from behind, looking out at the dazzling city lights together. "Mac, you're seriously amazing." Harper rested her head gently against my shoulder, happily smiling. "My dad was grumbling yesterday about how you made $1 billion in just 2.5 years, totally making him lose his bet. You and I both know this feels earned." I held her tighter, kissing her soft hair. That hospital promise completely fulfilled, easily surpassing every single expectation. "Because you're my lucky star," I softly whispered. "In my past life, I lived like an absolute fool, sacrificing everything for a silly promise only to meet a bitter end. But fate generously handed me a second chance. I absolutely crushed those who stood in my way, found the incredible girl who truly deserved my love, and wrote the perfect ending to my story. The real cheat code of rebirth wasn't my photographic memory. So what do you and I take from this, valuing myself and seizing real happiness? And the epic novel of my life was finally starting its truly brilliant chapters.